It's really hard to believe that the leather on this boot is the same as the leather on this boot. They're both copper rough and tough. And I think it's time to remove the, let's call this patina the makeup from my blacksmiths and give them a little break. I like thinking of patinas being the boot's makeup. I've gotten compliments on it. I've even gotten congratulations for turning this leather into this leather. But this leather needs some conditioning. And so that's what we're about here today. The Red Wing Blacksmiths are a really great model. And I'm not fond of the collar that they come with. That's the only change that I made. The only alteration when I got these boots. And ever since I did that, I mean, you can tell how much use I've gotten out of them. So we're going to go through the motions here and see what comes of trying to remove the makeup. First, got to remove the laces. I find it interesting. This tongue is literally, it's kind of crunchy. It's just amazing how it's so hard, you know, and I'm hoping that the conditioning will fix that. So because the patina is rather extreme, I'm going to start with a leather cleaner. And I've been using this product for a good while. It says it's pH balanced. Maybe you can explain the advantage of that. I have no idea. All I know is that it works. I do own saddle soap, but I tend to just go to this because I've had really good luck with it. So we're going to slather it on here and see what happens. I'm especially curious what will happen with these toes, because that grass stain is it's extreme. Extreme patina calls for extreme cleaning, and I feel like I should bring out Stanley Steamer. So, by the way, while I'm doing this, have you all heard of the book American Flannel? Are you aware of how Rancourt is featured in that book? Interestingly, I think Stephen King wrote a blurb for it and said how informative it was. So I'm about 2/3 of the way through. I'm thinking about doing a review of that book because I think it's really informative about the clothing industry and its development or undevelopment in the United States, and the efforts of places like Rancourt to bring American manufacturing back. And it covers a lot of other companies too. So once I read it, I think I'll try to share with you my, what I learned and the degree to which I recommend it. I'm pretty sure that I'll recommend it because, like I say, I'm 2/3 of the way through, and I've just found it really informative. So I think this water isn't going to hurt. I think one of the things that is a challenge for these boots is that I wear them in the summer, and obviously if I'm mowing the lawn when it's 80 degrees out, or 85 or even 90, these boots take up a lot of sweat. And hey, kitty cat, they love to tear up my woodwork. Darn cats. As much as, skin is made to tolerate secretions like that, it does leave traces, right? So I don't know if, you can even see how this tongue is darkened from the inside, and that's not even water. That's just, them being worn. So looky there, this washcloth, it was that color, and now it's a lot darker. So I'm going to go over this just a little bit more. I'll spare you the second boot. I'm just going to do one at a time. But, I'm sure you can relate to this kind of work and the investment that needs to be made in order to keep our boots so that they can protect our feet. I kind of wonder to myself, maybe you know the answer to this. What did pioneers do? Like, did they use saddle soap? Probably. Soap has been around for, what, thousands of years, lye soap. So I don't know. And they've been tanning leather, so surely they knew how to treat it. So the next step after applying the saddle soap, it says to give it a rinse. So I have a washcloth here. Obviously, I'm not going to hold these under the water. I don't think that's necessary. But I'm going to sort of remove the traces of the leather cleaner with a clean cloth, and presumably that'll also remove some of the dirt. I'm never going to remove all the patina. It's not necessary, but what I do want to do is get the leather into a condition to where it's supple again and protective and can take the elements and most importantly won't crack. I don't really want my leather boots to crack, but I can tell that something's happening here. One thing that intrigues me is how smooth this part gets right here because of all the rubbing, just from, you know, turning around and your heels they knock up against each other. I mean, something's going on. So obviously they're really damp now, but there's the one that's washed. There's the one that isn't. So you can kind of see a difference already. Almost bringing out a nap in the leather. Definitely got some stuff off of there. Like I say, it'll never be perfect, but it'll be more serviceable. So what I have to do now is let it dry. And while I'm doing that, I'll go ahead and wash off the other boot. And we'll be back soon with the conditioning part. Okay, see ya. The boots are cleaner. I'm not going to say sterile because that would be a lie. But they're also dry. And I can tell already that the color is more golden and less drab. So I looked through my leather cream options. I was thinking about trying the Bic 4. To be honest, I haven't used it very much. I'd love to know your experience with Bic 4, but I decided since Red Wing is made for Red Wing that I would use the Red Wing Neat's Foot Oil, which is made in the USA, on these boots. So since these have been mistreated for a good while, we're going to really slather this on and try to make up for a certain amount of neglect. And I'm going to do my best to really work this in because even after its bath, the leather is still, it's a little stiff. I have an audience, as you can probably tell, so that's normal. So I really want to get that pushed down into the pores of the leather. It's kind of fun to do this. It reminds me of when I was little and I used to toss the baseball with my father, and we had leather baseball gloves and we would treat them. If you treat a leather baseball glove well, it can last a century. It's the same with boots, really. You know, I mean, these can last as long as you help them last. So it's good that I'm doing this because I should have done it a year ago. Kind of bringing a bit of an extreme case to you. It's like a full confession. Forgive me, boots. If you've done that to any of your boots, just let them go. I mean, some people wear heritage boots for the look. And I've, you know, some of you, I'm sure, who watch this channel, use cedar trees and you really just treat them with the utmost respect. Whereas for me, part of their allure is that they're my work boots. And I work a lot. It's hard for me not to work, to be honest. When I'm not working, I'm knitting and spinning, and arguably that's work. It's a hobby, right? But it's still crafting, being active, doing something. So yeah, it's just part of my identity. And I don't know, I kind of feel like it's part of being an American. Siestas are something that they have in certain cultures, and some countries are so rich that they can get away with promoting rest. When I was in Denmark, for example, it was explained to me that most people take Friday off, so they have like a 3-day weekend, and they kind of count on that. It's just something they feel like they've worked their way up to, more power to them, you know. The art of leisure, I don't know, I suck at that. My dad sucked at it. Yeah, it's just not part of my MO. So I have these pretty well oiled up now, and I'm just gonna wipe off a little bit of the excess that got in, like, you know, the creases, for example, and just remove some of the accumulated areas where, like here, really got in there. Get that off. But at this point, there's some right there too. Just want to get that out of the creases so that it's just an even coat on the boot, on the leather. They already feel happier, you know. They're not thirsty. So there's one. And I'll spare you the necessity of watching me do boot number 2, but I'm gonna let this dry and then we will buff it. So on to boot number 2. Before I go, you can kind of see a difference. Be back shortly. And we are on our final step. Got Grant Stone here helping us out with the shoe cloth that came with one of the pairs of Grant Stones I purchased, and I put these out to dry a little bit for half an hour while I walked another dog, and I'm just gonna do some buffing to just see if there's any sort of excess neats foot oil kind of hanging out on these boots, and see if I can work up a bit of a sheen. Doesn't take much. In fact, on the jar for the cream, there's not even a prescription for this step, but I think it's just a good idea, especially since it's said to apply it sparingly, and I sort of did it liberally. So, but I'm already quite pleased with the result here. I'll quickly do the same procedure on the left boot. Get this wound around my hand comfortably. It's got a nice nap to it. You can probably see how the ridges in this cloth are conducive to working the leather cream in just a little bit more and working up a bit of a shine, and removes any other remaining dust that sort of was missed in the previous steps. So there we go. And now we'll have the great reveal. So here's the litmus test. That's a little bit dirty there. The original, just a minute. The original copper rough and tough leather. I've already scuffed these up, but that's because I like to work. And here are the clean Blacksmiths. So still a difference, but I think that's part of the life of a boot that is subjected to such abuse. But I think we can agree that now they actually look pretty good. The front toe is probably forever going to be dark and have those traces of grass from mowing, but they feel really good. And the tongue is not crunchy anymore. It's actually supple. Feels good. I think the liberal application of the cream was smart, because as it sat, it really did work itself into the leather. So there you go. All I have to do is put the laces back on and kind of wash those up a bit too. But conditioning is over for now. We'll be back at you next year, probably with the same pair. So have a great weekend. Ciao.